With great power comes great responsibility, but for some, that responsibility is grossly misinterpreted. Join us as we have a look at the many women that Bill Clinton has loved and left behind. Now, it's well known that Bill Clinton has had affairs. Exactly with who and how many, though, is a mystery. From claiming that he didn't have sexual relations with that woman, to various porn stars and socialites. It would seem that he's dipped his presidential ink in almost anything and everything that moved. Monica Lewinsky. Lewinsky was a fledgling intern when she began her time in the White House under the jurisdiction of then-President Bill Clinton, and soon the pair began becoming closer than they probably should have. Someone took notice and decided that Lewinsky would be better off with a position at the Pentagon. Gee, I wonder why. Turns out that Monica was interviewed and subsequently turned the offer down when given the job. Then, as most of the living population who hasn't been under a rock in the last 30 years knows, it would end up that Bill and Monica were getting it on behind closed doors. At least 9 confirmed times over a 2-year period, 7 of which Hillary was actually in the White House at the time. This spawned hot fire material on Saturday Night Live. I mean, John Goodman made for the perfect Linda Tripp, didn't he? And it set the scandal forward that saw Hillary standing by her man as he uttered those famous words, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." Clinton would actually end up being impeached for lying, and then acquitted of lying. And as recent as 2015, Monica has been enjoying a life advocating for the fight against bullies. But before Monica, Bill was governor. And when he was governor, there was Paula Jones. Paula Jones was a state employee in Arkansas who claimed that Bill Clinton sexually harassed her and brought a suit against him to prove it. Jones would claim that in 1991 she was let into Bill Clinton's room at a high-class hotel where he made the moves towards her, exposed himself, and sexually harassed her. She would end up waiting until 1994, filing her lawsuit just days before the statute of limitations would run out, and sought the measly sum of $750,000 in damages. Ultimately, the case would be dismissed, with Clinton saying that Jones couldn't prove she actually had suffered any damages. But she still would go on to be paid by Clinton the money that she wanted in order for her to drop her bid for appeal and move on. She ended up getting just $200,000 after legal fees and had plastic surgery that was paid for by a donor. Clinton would later be disbarred from practicing law in Arkansas days before leaving the White House, and Paula Jones would go on to pose for Penthouse magazine, most likely due to her money troubles. But before there was Paula, there was Juanita. Juanita Broderick was enjoying a nice life as a nursing home administrator when she met Bill Clinton in 1978. Clinton was campaigning to become governor when the two met, and Juanita decided that she wanted to help him with his efforts. After deciding to meet at a coffee shop in a Little Rock hotel, the pair ended up in her room, and that's when she alleged that Clinton forced himself on her, bit her lip, raped her, and then left the room. She kept quiet about it all, actually attended a fundraiser out of guilt and shame, feeling like it was her fault afterwards. And that's when things get stranger. Hillary approached her and locked hands with her, letting her know that she was grateful for everything that Juanita had done for her husband. Juanita would go on to file a lawsuit against Clinton in 1999. In January of 1998, while under oath, Clinton testified about his sexual relationship with Jennifer Flowers, a model, actress, and penthouse pet. Initially, though, Bill actually lied on an episode of 60 Minutes about the ordeal, saying that it never happened. But in a pre-social media age, there was still tape, and Flowers produced recordings of phone calls between the two. Bill then claims it was a one-night stand that happened in 1977, 2 years after he married Hillary. But Flowers retorts that the relationship actually extended over a 12-year period. But even before Jennifer, there was Dolly. Dolly Kyle had known Clinton from a young age, and the two both sought careers in law. However, in 1974, they began an affair that lasted a period of 18 years. The two would end up having an impromptu meeting at their high school reunion in 1994 where Clinton and Kyle came to an agreement that she wouldn't go public and he wouldn't destroy her. Kathleen Willey was an aide in the White House who claims, much like Juanita did, that Clinton sexually assaulted her. According to Willey, the pair had a private meeting in the Oval Office where Clinton grabbed her, groped her, and forced his hand onto her genitals against her will. Clinton called her accusations absurd because her breasts were too small, and he would never pursue a woman with small breasts. Linda Tripp would go on to testify that Willey actually had a crush on Clinton, that she would do things to try and gain his interest, wear certain clothing, and show up at events he would be at where she didn't have any business. During Clinton's years in college, Yale to be specific, that the first report of his rapes would surface, that he had raped a 22-year-old student. She never filed charges against him, but retired campus police confirmed that the incident did happen. Bill would move on to become a teacher at the University of Arkansas, where he claims that a student came on to him, but she claims he sexually assaulted her by groping her and forcing his hands inside of her blouse. Arkansas state troopers felt powerless when he was governor. During a period in the late 70s up to 1980, they received several complaints from women about Bill and his attempts and successes to force himself onto them. Carolyn Moffett was a legal secretary who met Clinton in 1979 at a fundraiser. She was escorted to Clinton's room by a state trooper after she had been invited. Once inside, she found Bill Clinton wearing only his white undershirt, where he pointed to his penis and told her to service him orally. When she relented and said she didn't even do that for her boyfriend, he tried to force her head down onto him, and she panicked and escaped the room. Former Miss America 1982, Elizabeth Ward, was first Miss Arkansas, and initially claimed that she was raped by Clinton shortly after winning her state crown. She recently went on record as saying that the sex was in fact consensual, but friends in private say that it's just a lie, and she still maintains that she was raped. 10 years later, she would go on to pose for Playboy magazine. Sally Perdue. She says that she had an affair with Clinton sometime prior to 1994. She was Miss Arkansas in 1958. Ugh. Lincola Sullivan apparently had an affair with Clinton, according to one of his former state trooper bodyguards. She was Miss Arkansas in 1980. And moving on, we find Christy Zurcher. Zurcher worked as a flight attendant on Clinton's personal jet during his campaign in 1992, where she says that Clinton showed her his penis, groped her breasts, and made explicit remarks about oral sex. Astonishingly, ABC News was on board at the time, and in video shot, shows an obviously drunk Clinton with his hands between a flight attendant's legs. She would later say that she was pressured to keep her mouth closed about the whole incident. And of course, you have to ask yourself how Hillary deals with it all. Well, she does what any civil-minded woman who respects herself does. Oh wait, no, she doesn't. In every case, she's hired lawyers and investigators to hunt down every sliver of information on each woman they can find in an effort to destroy them. She's openly commented about her efforts to others, campaign staffers, and friends. And through it all, she's stuck right next to Bill. Kind of funny how a woman who claims to be all about women's rights and the power of the woman aligns herself with a man who has a great track record for infidelity, rape, and sexual assaults. But what do you think? And are you part of the over 40-plus women who have come forward, alleging an affair with Bill Clinton in the past 40 years? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one in the future. Oh, and check out our video on the many loves that were left behind by Donald Trump. Thanks for watching.